Before the Lamborghini Urus and before luxury SUVs were everywhere, Lamborghini built this. A V12 powered off-road truck originally designed for the military. Loud, rare, and completely unapologetic. This is the Matchbox Lamborghini LM002. My name's Troy and welcome to Torque Junkies. Let's dive in to find out what makes this vehicle so special. The story of the Lamborghini LM002 doesn't begin as a luxury vehicle at all. It begins as a military experiment. In the late 1970s, Lamborghini was struggling financially. Supercars alone weren't enough to keep the company stable, so Lamborghini began exploring government and military contracts, something very few people associate with the brand today. Their first attempt was a prototype called the Cheetah, developed for the US military. It failed, but Lamborghini didn't give up. That failure led to a second prototype, and eventually to the vehicle we now know as the LM002. Unlike anything Lamborghini had built before, the LM002 was designed to dominate harsh terrain, deserts, mountains, and undeveloped roads, while still carrying the unmistakable DNA of a supercar manufacturer. By 1986, Lamborghini officially launched the LM002 as a civilian vehicle. At its heart was something no truck had any business having: a 5.2-liter V12 engine taken directly from the Lamborghini Countach. This engine produced around 444 horsepower, an absurd number for the time, especially in an off-road vehicle that weighed nearly 6,000 pounds. Despite its size, the LM002 could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7.7 seconds, and had a top speed approaching 130 miles per hour, numbers that embarrass sports cars of the era. Power was sent through a full-time four-wheel drive system paired with a low-range transfer case, allowing the LM002 to crawl through sand, mud, and rock while still cruising comfortably at highway speeds. Lamborghini even offered an alternate engine option, a 7.2-liter Marine V12 intended for customers who wanted even more torque, even though very few were ever built with it. One of the most fascinating details of the LM002 lies where it meets the ground. Because nothing on the market could handle the weight, speed, and heat of this vehicle, Lamborghini partnered with Pirelli to create custom tires designed exclusively for the LM002. These massive tires were engineered to handle high-speed desert driving while still maintaining durability off-road. Today, original LM002 tires can cost several $1,000s per tire, and replacements are extremely difficult to source. A reminder that this vehicle was never meant to be practical. Inside, the LM002 was pure 1980s excess. Leather seats, luxury trim, air conditioning, power accessories. This wasn't a utility vehicle, it was a statement. Production ran from 1986 to 1993, and in that entire span, only about 300 LM002s were ever built. Buyers included celebrities, collectors, Middle Eastern royalty, and anyone wealthy enough to maintain a V12 truck that averaged 6 to 7 miles per gallon. The original MSRP hovered around $120,000 to $150,000, depending on configuration, well over $300,000 in today's money. For years, the LM002 was misunderstood. Too strange, too expensive, too excessive. But today it's recognized as the spiritual grandfather of every luxury performance SUV that followed, including Lamborghini's own Urus. And if you look at recent bring and trailer sales, values reflect that legacy. We're going to take a look at some of those sales right now. All right, here's one on bring a trailer. This one sold, let's see, back in, looks like October of 2025 for $400,000. That one was in Illinois, had just 12,000 miles on it. I've always loved the look of these vehicles. I remember when they were new. I thought they were so cool. I've got a big poster that I ordered from Lamborghini years ago. I still have it right now of this vehicle. There's the interior of it. Almost kind of resembles the Hummers that came along after this. They kind of have a resemblance to each other. There's the big V12 there. And that's kind of an interesting way that the back end opens up there. The tire goes down to the ground. You can load, there's seats back there where you can have passengers sitting on both sides of the back. And then there's the interior. Once again, kind of looks like a Hummer a little bit. And then there's another one. This one sold for $325,000 back in 2024, January of 24. That one was in California. only had 15,000 miles on it. People apparently didn't drive these vehicles too much. That's got a red interior, pretty cool looking there. Doesn't look like a whole lot of legroom there. I don't know if that seat goes back a lot more, but looking at it that way, it sure doesn't have much room at all. It must go back, I'm guessing. There's the manual transmission, engine, and then there's a black one. This one sold way back in 2020 for $285,000. This one was actually in Seattle, which is interesting because I remember seeing a couple. I lived in Seattle for my whole life until recently, and I remember seeing a couple of these come to car shows and stuff that were black. I remember even years ago, there was a dealership over there that had a black one sitting outside, and I went to look at it just for fun, and it had been raining, and the whole thing was leaking inside, and there was a big puddle on the floor inside, and I remember, and this was back, you know, probably 1990 or something like that, and they didn't really treat it like it was anything special back in the day. This one only has 2,500 miles on it. I think the black looks pretty cool though. There's the interior of that one. This was a special one that was built for the ex-Sultan of Brunei, or I guess it was the Sultan of Brunei. This was previously owned by him. It's a 1986, custom built into a wagon. Pretty cool looking. This was sold from Sweden, only 6,700 miles. Pretty cool custom job though. And they did the seats inside all kind of like a limo or something to get extra people in there. And then here's a set of tires it sold on Bring a Trailer for $10,000. So I don't know if these tires were still, they were produced back in, I think it said 2020 or 2021, but they just sold just this month. I'm not sure how long these tires are good for, but I suppose they're still good for several more years. But $10,000 for a set of tires for them. So anyway, this vehicle, they did such a good job though. Matchbox did an amazing job with the casting of this vehicle, with the details. Look at the door handles and all the little details on this. It's got that rear tire mounted there, license plate, tail lights, Lamborghini on the back with the Lamborghini emblem. They just did such an amazing job with this vehicle. I love it. It's always been one of my favorites, and I love the black and silver look with the matte paint, headlights on it there. What was once seen as a bizarre experiment is now one of Lamborghini's most important vehicles. And trucks like this are meant to be seen.